morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss the final part of this chapter, staffing chapter, fifth part. So in the previous class, whatever we have discussed, let us have a quick recap. In the last class, we have discussed about the selection procedure. And the selection procedure, I have began with the preliminary screening. And this is the first step where we are going to eliminate the misfit candidates. And the second, it is followed by selection test. I have explained about various types of tests. So here mainly 5 types of tests we have discussed. And the third step is conducting the interviews. I have already mentioned about different types of interviews and what is the purpose of interview. So here the interviewer seeks information and he makes an assessment, or it is a personal appraisal of the candidate. And the fourth step in the selection process is after the employment interview, it is reference and background checks. Generally the applicants are requested to give the contact number and address of their previous employees or the principals of the educational institutions. Here the company can get additional information about the candidate, like those characteristics which could not be or which cannot be assessed in the various kinds of tests. Those additional information can be obtained from the previous employer or the principal or the professors of universities. Those characteristics are like the temperament of the candidate, and then the honesty and integrity. Such qualities we can get from the reference and background. And the next is the final decision now, the selection decision or the final decision. If the candidate has passed in all these 4 stages, then a list will be prepared. And all those candidates who have passed in all these stages will have to undergo medical examination, because physical fitness is equally important. Only physically fit employees can turn out to be very productive, because there will be reduction in absenteeism, there will be reduction in accidents, and that is the reason regarding the importance of medical examination. And after that, the job offer will be given by the company to the candidate, in which all the information regarding the job will be given to the candidate, and the candidate he will accept, and that is the last stage of selection process, that is called contract of employment. In the contract of employment, there are various documents will have to be executed by both the employer and the employee, and all the terms and conditions of the appointment, they are written in this contract. It is a written agreement, and if the candidate has accepted it, he has to give his acceptance by signing on the contract. So these are all the different stages or the steps involved in the selection process. We have made a detailed discussion of this, and after that I have explained about the training, development and education. The purpose of training, why the training is very essential, or the importance of training. It's mainly because of very complex business environment, and very complex business environment has necessitated the employees to acquire additional skills. These technological development or changes in the production process, or the changes in the distribution system, or the entire business environment has undergone a tremendous change over the years. And to equip those changes or to adopt those changes, the employees will have to upgrade their skills. So upgrading the skills or knowledge, getting the knowledge, all this can be done through proper training and development program. So this training, I have told you, this is a job specific, and it is only for a particular duration or a particular period, and this is not a continuous process like the development process. So, the individual has to, or a particular employee has to acquire a particular skill, and that is why for a particular period of time this training is given. So, this is job oriented and it increases the productivity of the employee, and so many other benefits are associated with it. And the development is, it is actually the main aim of development is the development of overall personality of the employee. It is not job specific. So, it is career oriented. So, personality means here both the what is called development here, it is overall personality of the candidate, his attitude and knowledge, understanding and decision making and ability to assume higher status or higher position in the organization. So, it is the self actualization process. Development is a self actualization process. So, these are all, and at the end I have discussed the benefits of training and development programs, and the benefits, it is or the benefits are enjoyed by both the organizations as well as the employees. So, I have made a list of all the benefits of training and development program, and today we are going to take up the last and the final topic in this particular chapter. It is regarding different methods of training. Now, these methods of training, they are broadly classified into two. One is on the job training, the other one is off the job training. So, in the previous class I have just mentioned about these two types of training, on the job and off the job training. On the job training means the training is given when the worker works at his workplace. So, the workplace is same as his or the training is given at his workplace or when he is actually doing the work. So, this is nothing but learning by doing. So, when he does the work, he learns the work. That is called on the job training. The other one is off the job training. So, it is the opposite of on the job. Off the job training means the training is provided away from the actual working condition. So, it is not given at his workplace. So, in a different premises or at a different place, the training is given to the employees. On the job training and off the job training. Now, we shall study what are all different types of on the job trainings are there. So, basically there are 4 types under on the job training. The first one is, as you can see here, that is apprenticeship training or apprenticeship program we call it, and then you have coaching, internship training and then job rotation. So, all these are learning by doing training methods. So, here the employee learns by actually doing the work. Now, we shall study what is this apprenticeship training. Apprenticeship training, here apprentice means trainee. So, employee learns here as a trainee under a trainer. So, trainer here is a master employee, one who has already experienced, one who has already gained or mastered the work. So, he gives training to the apprentice. So, the apprentice or the trainee is put under the guidance of the master worker here. This training is given especially to acquire higher level of skill. Now, example I can give plumbing or to become an electrician. Here he has to master or he has to acquire a higher level of skill. So, this particular training is always for a particular period of time. So, apprenticeship training is for a particular time or particular period, say it may be for 6 months or it may be for 1 month. And the period of training is called apprenticeship period. Now, both here all apprentices are they have to work under a supervisor or the master worker. Now, some may be very slow learners, some may be quick learners, and for slow learners some additional training will have to be given. So, this is all about apprenticeship training. Under apprenticeship training, both knowledge and skill are imparted to the employees. And next we shall study about the next internship what is called on the job training, that is coaching. So, what is coaching? Here the superior worker, he acts as a coach to the employees. So, the employees are the trainees here. The superior worker is a coach. The coach specifies the goals and he suggests how the goal is to be obtained, and then he observes the employee or the trainees how they are at work. So, he periodically observes their work, he reviews the work, and later he gives suggestions, required suggestion regarding the change in his behavior or in his his attitude. So, the trainees have to work under a superior, and the superior tells him what is the goal of the organization. He observes when the employees or the trainees when they do the work, and not only that, he periodically reviews their work and then he gives the suggestion. So, what all changes will have to be done, those suggestions will be given by the superior. And here generally a worker, he will work along with the senior manager. I can give you an example. A worker works along with the senior manager under the guidance of a manager, and the manager is held responsible for the work of this trainee. And what is the purpose of this particular training here? The purpose is to replace the senior manager in case of emergency, and thereby release the senior manager from his duties. So, that is the main reason for giving this coaching. And the next on the job training method is internship training. And this internship training, it is very common in the case of certain professions like medical, to become a doctor, or it is common in the case of auditing. So, chartered accountants, to become a chartered accountant, or the management and or the lawyer's profession, this internship training is very, very essential. Now, let us see what is this internship training. This is actually a joint program. This training is actually a joint program. So, educational institutions and the business firms, they cooperate for this internship training. Now, for example, to become a doctor or to get an MBBS degree, along with the theoretical knowledge, he has to undergo this internship training. He has to work in a hospital under the supervision of senior doctor. Then this medical student, he gets exposure to the practical knowledge as well. So, to become a doctor, theoretical knowledge is as essential as practical knowledge. So, theoretical knowledge he gets in the educational institution and actual working knowledge he gets in the hospital. Similarly, chartered accountant or to become a company secretary or to become a manager or to become a lawyer, internship training is very, very essential. So, this method is suitable where advanced theoretical knowledge is to be backed up by practical experience on the job. So, this is all about internship training. And the next on the job training method is job rotation. When I say job rotation, you understand that there is a change of job. It involves shifting the trainee here from one department to another department, or from one job to another job, or from one section to another section. So, the trainee learns every part of the work procedure in a business firm or in a business organization. He learns everything. In other day I have given you an example of banking institution where the clerks or the officers, they need to learn the entire or all types of job that is in the particular branch. Like he should know about the cash transaction, he should know about handling of different types of deposits, he should know about NRI deposits, he should know about different types of loans, he should know about recovery of loans, he should know how to deal with customer grievances. So many activities, so many types of jobs are in the banking institute. And the employee here, he has to learn everything. He should be able to manage any work in that particular branch, and that is the purpose of job rotation. So, the trainee gains broader understanding of the organization as a whole and all parts of the business. So, he comes to know each and every part and how each and every work is connected to the other work. So, he learns the organization as a whole and as parts. That gives him the broader understanding of his business. Not only that, when a trainee is shifted from one branch to another branch or from one department to another department, he will come across all his colleagues or all other employees. So, they develop a rapport, and that is very much essential for future cooperation. When he is shifted to other department in future, he will be working along with the people whom he already knows. So, this is the benefit of job rotation. And this job rotation, it is easier at the time of transfer and promotion, because the employee knows everything about the organization, he knows about the other departments. So, even if he is transferred to other department, the job is not new to him, he will easily get adjusted to the new environment. Similarly, at the time of promotion also, he knows about other employees, so he can become a successful employee. So, job rotation is one of the methods of on the job training. So, 4 methods we have studied. They are apprenticeship program, and the second one we have studied about the coaching, and the next is internship training, and the last one is job rotation. And now we will discuss about off the job training methods. What are all the off the job training methods? This training, as I already told you, it is not given at the workplace, but it is given separately or away from the workplace. Now, what are all the usual, I think here you have got 5 methods that you have to learn under off the job training. One is classroom lecture, the next is films, and the third method is case study, then computer modeling, then after computer modeling you have program instructions, then you have vestibule training. So, all these are different methods we are going to study now. Now, the first one is classroom lectures. It is also called conference. So, though they are not same, but here it is given under the same heading, classroom lectures or conferences. So, what do you mean by classroom lecture? So, classroom lecture is you have already experienced. There will be a lecturer who gives you the information about a particular topic. Generally, here specific information is conveyed like the rules or the procedures or the methods to be followed at the time of doing the job, or regarding the rules of the organization. So, all these are actually those information are conveyed to the employees. But generally this actually this is there are so many benefits are there under this method, similarly certain drawbacks are also there. So, lecture method is not very costly, because in the classroom all the employees are made to sit, a lecturer comes and gives the information, and it gives a facility for face to face communication. If the trainees have any doubts or any clarification, that can be clarified in the classroom itself. So, it is very economical, because large number of trainees are trained at a time. However, this particular method also has certain drawback, because if the lecture is not very interesting, what happens? You imagine your classroom, the lecture is not very interesting. What happens? You may fall asleep, isn't it? You may fall asleep, or you may resort to some pranks, you may do some pranks. All these things happen, right? And that is why this classroom teaching will have to be made very effective and attractive. So, you can the trainer has to make use of certain audio visuals, and thereby the classroom lecture can be made more effective. However, this is a very what is called very economical as well as very easily available on off the job training method. And the next method here is films. Films are made to demonstrate certain skills that are not easily represented by other techniques. Now, certain skills will have to be shown to the trainees here. In that case, a short film may be taken, and those films are shown to the trainees, and that gives what is called visual effect, and the trainees will learn faster, because those images will remain in their minds, and thereby they learn better and they can remember what has been learnt, those skills that which they have learnt, that will be retained in their memory, and they can learn fast. And the third one is case study. What is this case study? Case study means certain cases. Cases are given to the trainees. Cases are the problems, real problems that managers have faced during their work. They come across various problems. The managers come across various problems, and they are cases, real cases, and those cases are given to the trainees, and the trainees, they have to make study of these cases. After studying, they have to determine the problems. What are the causes? What are the causes for that particular problem? They have to search. and after searching the reasons or the causes for that problem, they have to analyze the cause. They have to make a list of the cause, they have to analyze the causes, and they have to develop solutions for the problem. There may be many solutions. So, alternative solutions they have to discover, they have to develop alternative, and among the alternative solutions they have to select the best solution which they think as the best solution, because there is no best solution as such. So, they have to actually select what they believe to be the best solution, and that solution they have to implement it. So, this is a very interesting training method, because here the trainees they actively engage in analyzing the problem, then searching causes, then developing alternative courses of action, and then they have to select the solution which they think to be the best, and then they have to implement it. And by that they study whether the solution which is given by them is if it is a good solution or not, or if not, how that can be improved. So, they learn from their own decisions here. And the next is computer modeling. So, what is this computer modeling? This is nothing but simulation of the work environment. Simulation means it is the creating you have to create a working condition as real as possible, but they are not the actual what is called actual working condition, that is not the actual working place. So, computer modeling is you are making use of the computer to create as much as possible a real working environment by using programming a computer. So, what is the benefit of this? The benefit of this training is there is a visual effect. The trainees can see it on the computer screen without the risk of damage to machines and equipments. So, there will not be any damage because they are not actually here, they are not using the machine, they are not using the equipment here, but however they are learning here without risk and without any cost. If at all they work with the real machine or advanced kind of a machine which are very costly or very sophisticated machine, and if they make any mistakes, that will damage the instrument, it will result in cost, and not only that, it may cause loss to their life, or they may there may be some accidents can happen causing loss to the life or to the, or physically they may get some problems, isn't it? So, this computer modeling is again a very effective method of training, we can say, because here the trainees can watch this program any number of times till he gets proper knowledge regarding the working of the machines, tools and equipments. The next one is vestibule training. This is also a very interesting training method. This vestibule training is generally used for new employees. This method also involves simulation. So, simulation means it is a job setting. You have to create a working condition, or it is job setting that approximates as closely as is practicable to the actual working environment. So, training working environment is as good as the real work environment. And what is this vestibule? What is the meaning of vestibule actually? Vestibule means it is actually a hall, we say hall, that is actually or lobby next to the outer door of a building. It is a lobby or hall next to the outer building. Similarly, vestibule training, why it is named vestibule training? Because the training venue or training premises is located as near to the working place. So, it is situated very near to the working place, and that is why it is called vestibule training. This method is used to train technical staff and office employees who deal with the tools, equipments and machines. Not only to the technical staff, even office staff or office employees are also given this vestibule training. Now, this method is usually actually used when there is a very advanced technology or advanced machines or very sophisticated machines are to be used in the real workplace. The benefit of this training is, in the vestibule training there is no real work pressure, because an employee, if he works with the very advanced machine, naturally he undergoes lots of stress and pressure. But here in the vestibule training, when the training is given, since it is not a real working place, they are free from any stress or pressure. And this type of training, I can give you an example of airline pilots. If he is given an aeroplane, real aeroplane for training, just imagine what can happen to the pilot as well as to the aeroplane. And in this case, vestibule training is very useful. So, airline pilots are actually a simulated cockpit, a cockpit which is similar to the real cockpit where he is given the training. So, it involves risk, not only that it involves high cost if he is to be trained in the real cockpit. And one more benefit or another benefit I can say, if it is vestibule training, in that case you can learn in a very peaceful environment. If the training is given in the actual plant or at the factory, there is lots of noise. So, the employees cannot concentrate in learning how the machine is to be used. So, vestibule training is free from noise when compared to the real plant or factory. So, these are the benefits are there regarding the vestibule training. And finally, we have to know the last of the job training method. It is called programmed instruction. This is a very interesting learning, a very interesting method of learning, I can say. Programmed instruction, or it is also called programmed learning. This method is used to acquire some specific skills or knowledge. Actually, these are used even in schools also, schools and colleges, programmed learning or programmed instruction. And this method, it is based on research based system. So, this system is actually prepared or it is guided by research done by applied psychologists and educators. So, both they work together to develop material for programmed instruction or programmed learning. And the information is what is generally done here. The information is broken into meaningful units and these units are arranged in a proper way, in a particular sequence from simple to complex. Small units, and these are arranged in a sequential learning package, generally from simple to complex. The trainees or the learners, they learn by reading these units and then by answering questions given at the end of each unit. After each step, questions are given to test their comprehension, and the learner, he gives responses immediately. After reading the text or the material, which are divided into small units, at the end of each unit, questions are given. The learner has to give his responses, and he can immediately understands, or he will get an immediate knowledge of the result, whether he has understood or not. He himself can find out. If his answer is wrong, again he can refer back. Once again he can read it and then he can answer. So this is again a very interesting what is called a very interesting of the job training method, programmed instruction. And generally this learning material, it is in the form of either the textbook or teaching machine or computer. In these three forms the learning materials are there, and all these materials is presented in a very logical and tested sequence, because it is pre-tested. The materials are pre-tested and the learner can become a successful learner in this case, programmed instruction. It is a very interesting, and it gives scope for self-learning. So this is also one of the training methods used under of the job training method. So with this I have completed different types of training methods. So I just want to once repeat what are all the things we have discussed today, and these training methods are broadly classified under two heads. One is on the job training method and the other one is off the job training. Now on the job training methods, here there are four types. One is apprenticeship program, the other one is coaching, then internship training, and then job rotation. And on the job training, it is nothing but learning while doing, where off the job training it is also said learning before doing. So before you actually put into the workplace, and before that the training is given, that is called off the job training. Under off the job training, there are certain training methods we have discussed. So they are classroom lectures, and then we have studied about the films, then case study, vestibule training, computer modeling, and then programmed instruction we have studied at the end. So in total there are 10 training methods we have studied, and this is again a very important topic that we have discussed, and you can expect questions also from these methods of training. And with this actually we have come to the end of staffing chapter, and though it is lengthy, though the chapter is bit lengthy, it is very interesting chapter, and I hope you have enjoyed learning this. And in the beginning I have told you, first class I have told you about, I have given you the examples of different human resource leaders in very leading and successful companies, and they have certain attributes or the qualities. I have asked you to write an article on this, and hope you remember, and if you get time you just Google and find out very successful human resource leaders both in India and abroad, and write an article, make a beautiful presentation, and you put it on in your notice board. Thank you.